Welcome to the Atomic Impact Podcast. I am your host, Jason Osborn. And on this podcast, we interview successful business owners for them to share atomic impactful lessons that they've learned and share them with us as well. As always, this show is sponsored by the LinkedIn Reverse Podcast Method, the new way to close deals that don't rely on those old traditional methods that everybody hates. We use this method to book 26 qualified leads and get sales calls in 10 days without any ad spend, outreach, or endless social media posting. To find out more, direct message me on LinkedIn to have a chat. It's Jason A. Osborn, and the link to my LinkedIn profile will be in the show notes below. Today's guest is Simon Meadows. He's the owner of Sterling Business Coaching. He provides coaching of tech and construction businesses. Plus, he also is a coach of other coaches, which is absolutely brilliant. So, Simon, welcome to the show. And I want to start off with my first question, which is this. If you had a time machine to go back into when you first started your very first business, what's the number one piece of advice that you would ask yourself, or not ask yourself, but tell yourself to help you maybe avoid
Oh,
some of the pitfalls that you've had along the way?
yeah. Well, hi, Jason, and thanks for the introduction. And that's a real easy question. So I coach a lot of other construction businesses because I had my own construction business for nearly 20 years here in the UK. And the advice I would give myself would be to go all in at day one. So what I did is I had a business partner. He'd already got another company. We set up this construction business, and I worked for another business and did my new business with my business partner part time, and that really held us back. And I made sure I got enough money to cover my salary for a year before I left my job because I just got married, just taken a house, and then the business just rocketed. And I we both said if only we'd have done this on day one, if only we'd gone all in on day one, how much more successful would we have been? So that's definitely what I would tell myself right at the very beginning. Don't pussyfoot about with it. Go all in.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. It's so true. I'd love to expand on that a little bit because I think people understand that in theory. It's like, yeah, I've gone all in, but what does I guess I'll ask two questions around it because you could probably approach it two different ways. What does all in actually mean? And then what do oftentimes people confuse that they've gone all in, but really they haven't been?
Oh, that's a great double-barreled question. I think all in for me at that time meant just quitting the other job and putting 100% of my time, 100% of my focus into the new business because I definitely was at best 50-50 because I got quite a high pressure job with the construction company I worked for. And it was, working late at nights, working till midnight. It took its toll, definitely. So I think
Hmm.
quitting and just going all in on time and effort. But of course, the reason that stopped me doing that was I also didn't want to lose the salary that they paid me every month. So I think that's what sort of held me back. Um, I suppose the the infusion when people think they've gone all in and they haven't, and I see this a lot with the businesses I work with, and certainly a lot with the other coaches, because a lot of coaches perhaps are just hanging on to a little bit of consultancy work or a couple of days teaching still. They're doing a little bit of something. So they think 5 days a week is all in, but they're still hanging on to a little bit of a safety net and a little bit of a safety blanket, doing some extracurricular work or some extracurricular income 1 or 2 days a week. And whilst that might feel okay, I've definitely become more risk ready. Whilst I've been in business since 1994, so quite some time. Uh, and I'm a lot more easy to take risks now than I ever was then. And I think that having that safety net holds us back and stops us making those better decisions against the long-term plans and just stops us taking the risks that really enhance the opportunities that we have in front of us.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. It's that risk bit of trying to keep that tether into a
Yeah,
safety net. I guess there's pros and cons to those. I think, particularly if you've got a family, you might want to hold on to a little bit of income if you don't have
yeah,
reserves built up. But there's also that. there's a balance, isn't there? Like, well, when do you start cutting those safety nets where you
Yeah,
just go all in? Is there any particular type of, and I know this isn't a one size fits all type of answer that you can give, I don't think, but
sure.
is there any sort of like indications of where people might look and go, okay, actually, I haven't gone all in. This is when I do need to go all in and kind of just make that jump.
Oh, I think it comes. I've always had a business coach, which is why I became a business coach. And my first ever business coach got me to create a strategic plan. Now, I love Vern Harnish's one-page strategic plan in the Rockefeller book,
Yeah.
Rockefeller Habits. And I've used that all my working life and still use it with most of my clients now. And I think for me, when you start in business and you set those dreams and you set those long-term plans ahead, the point where you need to make that decision is when you're not achieving those steps, you're not achieving that plan. And for all my working life since going full in, the success has come because I've made every single decision against that one page strategic plan. And I set, when I was 23 years old, I set the plan to semi-retire and become a business coach when I was 50. And I did it when I was 42 with the help of the banking crisis, I must admit. But I was ready at the age of 42 and I didn't have to wait until I was 50. So I knocked 8 years off my plan. So if you're starting to creep that plan forward, then that's when you know that you're not really all in. You should be getting ahead of the plan, not pushing it back. So that would definitely be my indicator.
Yeah, that's cool. So if I hear what you're saying, it's make a plan for it, so you've got at least something to work towards, but try to move faster through that plan where you can.
Yeah, and don't put your plan in a filing cabinet somewhere away. Your plan should be like mine is up on the wall in front of me, so I can see it every day, make my decisions against it, live the plan, make it a part of your everyday business, not just something you create once, putting a cabinet, and then you put your head up 2, 3 years later and say, "How did I end up here?"
Yeah. So, which again sounds really obvious, but so many people don't do. So create a plan and then don't just file it away. Actually work the plan out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And as Vern's book is titled, it's a habit. Working through your plan needs to become a habit. It shouldn't be something you do out of necessity. It should be something you do because you're making decisions, you're loving it, you're enjoying it, you're loving the achieving of it. Make it a habit. Make it something that you do on a regular
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. Well, if one of the other questions I like to ask Simon is if you were to look back at one of the biggest challenges that you have had in your business, and at the time it might have seemed quite insurmountable, like how am I going to get through this? But having been
Yeah.
through it, you're actually quite happy that it happened because it wouldn't have allowed you to get to where you are today. What's one of those that have happened to you, and what are the lessons you've
Oh,
learned from that?
yeah. And it's given me goosebumps as you were just saying it then, because
Yeah.
it takes me back to my best friend in the world and the first person I ever worked with. So it's when I had the construction company. I had 4 or 5 other businesses as well, really successful, making huge amounts of money. Had got lots of time. I was running a British motorbike team. I was flying helicopters. I owned a helicopter. Everything was great. And myself and my friend Roland used to sit down 2 or 3 times a week talking about what we were going to do when we hit our 60s and what we were going to do when we retired and sold the businesses we got. He'd got a construction business too. And to cut a very long story short, he passed away at the age of 52.
Mm.
And he was about 13, 14 years older than me. And he reached out to the door to let the paramedics in and didn't get to the door. And when they got in, he'd already passed away. And that's when, for me, I realized I'd sat there thinking about one day I'm going to achieve this utopia of balance, of retirement. And in that moment, or very shortly after that moment of hearing about his death, I said, that's it. I'm not living for when I'm 60. I'm going to start doing mini retirements now. I'm going to start changing my life. So, I started looking after myself more. I changed where I lived. I changed the lifestyle that I've got because I realized actually I want to start doing those things not when I'm 60. I want to
Mm,
start doing those things now. So we bought some horses. We moved out of the town into the countryside and bought a nice plot of land and really started living that retirement that I dreamt of right there and right then. So
yeah.
that was something that was very sad at the time and devastating to lose such a friend. But that story didn't just help me change my life, but it helps me help other business owners escape that because I don't want one other business owner to be in that situation where they die because of their business. And I see
Yeah.
so many people that are so close to that. So no, I get out there and do it every day.
Man, I love that. It's such a personal story, but so many lessons to learn from that
Mm.
as well. It's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, over the next, let's say 2 to 3 or maybe 5 years, depending on kind of how you look at your time frames, what are your goals? What are you looking to achieve with the business?
Oh, that's an interesting question. For the business, definitely scale. So I moved from businesses that if I didn't go to work, I still earned lots of money. As a business coach, if I don't coach people, I don't get any money. So
Mm,
it's very nice not to have to work as I do. So, I work 2 to 3 days a week, but certainly I want to be able to have my mission of achieving more people through actually perhaps doing more group coaching, having more courses, and being able to take more time away. We're gradually getting our animal numbers down so we can take time to vacate and go away. So I definitely want the business. I love doing what I do every day, Jason. So I
mm,
don't ever want to stop it. They'll have to put a lid on the box to stop me. But I do want to be able to travel more, vacate more. So if I can do more online things, more groups, more to scale, more that gives me that freedom of choice to be doing what I want, when I want, and where I want, that's certainly what my longer term plan is. Because I've already hit the semi-retirement plan early. I'm 7 years
yeah,
into that already. So yeah, that's
that's
that for
brilliant.
me would be the dream.
That's amazing. I love hearing that. It's such a great, great thing. And great that you're already in that semi-retirement goal that you already had as well. So amazing. I know you'll be able to reach that. Well, if there's anyone that wants to get in contact with you, is there a website that they can do that with, Simon?
Yeah, I mean, sterling-coaching.com generally is the website, but I like to talk to people. I like to share stories and give value, whether they're going to become a client or not, or a partner. And there's a scheduler link, timewithsimon.com. I love to keep things simple. I'm happy to have 30 minutes just in a discovery call, chatting about anything with anybody. So, yeah, that's always a good link for people to get, timewithsimon.com.
Amazing. That's fantastic, Simon. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And as a reminder, this show is sponsored by the LinkedIn Reverse Podcast Method, the new way to close deals that doesn't rely on any of the old traditional methods that everyone hates. To find out more, direct message me on LinkedIn to have a chat. That's Jason A. Osborn. The link to that will be in the show notes as well.